Okay, hello, welcome back. I'm John Piggott and I'm speaking to you from the Cardiff School of Art and Design exhibition space, part of the Eastern DC Festival, Cardiff edition. And we're going to, in the next few minutes, we're going to walk you around and talk you through the real live physical exhibition pieces that we've got on show here in the gallery here in Cardiff. And I'm just getting some thumbs up from Paul and Alex here that the sound is working, which is fantastic news. Apologies that you weren't able to hear us live earlier, and we seem to have resolved that technical hitch here with all our high expertise that we have. So that's good news. And many thanks again to Gareth, whose keynote was really interesting and really great to be able to welcome him back and hear about his research as part of the festival here. So thanks, Gareth, and really great to hear from you. And also thanks again to everyone whose talks we heard earlier as part of the earlier symposium session. Again, really interesting and lots of really worthwhile sort of overlapping topics that tie into our matter realities, our materiality orientated theme for this edition of Eastern DC. So, my name is John Piggott, if I didn't already say that, and I'm going to talk you through the first of our pieces that we've got on show in the gallery space here. We're going to go through them all, and we've got Paul and Alex with us as well, so we're going to do a little bit of a group effort. But I'm going to start by talking through the first piece here by Ian Watson. So Ian's one of the resident artists. He was the resident artist that Ingrid brought on board as part of the Cardiff Festival here. And Ian's actually done two pieces, and I'm going to talk about one now and one a little bit later on. This is Array. I'll read you what we've got written about Array here, and then we're going to have a bit of a demonstration with Ian's piece here. So Ian showcases two works in the gallery. Both of them are driven by solar-powered and interrupted square-wave oscillators as a method of approximating environmental phenomena as installations of closed networks. So this piece here, Array, aims to mimic the tinnitus relieving effects of the river environment experienced during pandemic walks and trips to gather research materials, responding to light and shadow in an evolving audio composition within the space. Both of these works encourage parallels between natural and man-made cycles and emerging technologies, and ponders how they might be employed to guide us in a time of ecological catastrophe. So there's some really sort of strong themes of human and nature and technology in Ian's work. And as you can see here, we've got an array of these square wave oscillators. And if I turn up the speaker, we can hear the sound, and we're going to use our phones to affect these solar panels.
enough, John.
Okay.
That's enough, I think.
Getting carried away. Getting carried away. Okay. So there we have it. That's a little live demo there of Ian's array of solar-powered square wave oscillators. That here we're just sort of triggering them with the torches on our phones. So it's good sound. It brings up all sorts of associations, that soundscape actually. At one point I was sort of stuck in a traffic jam, an angry traffic jam. Okay, we're moving on to mine. Okay, so this is the piece I've made as part of the Eastern residency for the festival. The title of this piece is Resonant Forms. It's a series of sculptural loudspeakers. And as you can see, there is a series of kind of fairly uniform forms that they're sort of imagined really as kind of reliefs, actually. And the formal nature of the reliefs are inspired by loudspeaker design and other resonant objects, a whole range of different resonant objects, actually. Everything from kind of organ pipes and telephones and commercial PA systems through to large architectural spaces. Any kind of instance that you can imagine that resonates in a kind of material, spatial way. So that was the kind of inspiration for the visual form for these speakers. They are actually functioning loudspeakers. They have diaphragms inside that rattle and vibrate different materials. And also as part of the Eastern DC residency, I composed a sound composition that's played through these speakers, and I captured that in a recording and made a film to accompany that also reflects the kind of motivation and inspiration for some of their form. So in the gallery space here, we're just displaying the physical speakers themselves. And here we are. So this is Resonant Forms, and if you're interested to see more of that, the video is viewable on the website as well, so you can actually watch the video that I made in relation to these. Okay, so then we're going to hand over for the next piece now. Is it Paul?
I think we start with Karen and Nicholas, or?
Oh yeah. Oh yes. Yeah. We've got the extruded plastic from Caroline and Nicholas. So I'll get my laptop with the.
I can show you. It says the little piece. So we'll tell you more about this in a second.
Sorry. Do you want to hold this?
Okay. So first, we'll tell you a little bit about Karen and Nicholas. So my name is Paul Branjon. I'm also an academic here in Cardiff School of Art and Design, and I invited two artists in residence in 2019, Karin Liebel and Nicholas Schmidt-Fahler. And these are two young artists from Germany who have been interested in 3D printing and sculptural objects for quite a few years. And for their residency in the Fab Lab in Cardiff Med, they started working on this idea of making a robot that might extrude plastic made from recycled, failed 3D prints. So they worked with a discarded 3D printer here, and they started making a small prototype for a robot that would wobble along and extrude as it moved. And during the residency, they also started working on a prototype for a larger sort of extruder, following instructions from the Precious Plastics website. I don't know if you know about this Precious Plastic movement, which is a movement that is trying to open source methods and plans for machines that can be used for recycling the plastics that we have surrounding us everywhere. Anyway, so they made a prototype and they came up with a plan, and I'm going to read what they say about the piece that they completed, started in the Eastern DC residency, completed through an MRA fellowship in 2020, I think. And this is called Replaces. Moving through the exhibition space is a complex construction reminiscent of a planetary lander on 3 legs. In a branched funnel system, it transports different color granules made from plastic waste. The plastic material is heated and compressed in a cylindrical extruder in the center of the robot and swells out as a colorful mass. The hot material curves and twists until it cools and solidifies into its final form. The result is a variety of intertwining forms with glass-like surfaces and fascinating color transitions, material properties that are not usually associated with plastic. The title of the installation, Replaces, is short for Recycling PLA Closed Circuit Extrusion Shaper. The objects created during an exhibition can serve as raw material again and thus close the cycle. So we have some of these objects here. And there is a video in the gallery section of the Eastern Cardiff website where you can actually see the robot in action.
And they're beautiful things, actually.
Yeah,
I thought they were glass when I
they
first
look
came
like
into
They look like glass.
Yeah. So, thank you, Nicholas and Carolyn.
Thank you, Nicola.
Yeah.
It's very interesting to see the videos because then they will get deeper into the concept.
You
and
can see the
understand
robot
it.
making the objects in the video.
And lovely to see the physical work, having met Nicholas and Carolyn before COVID here in Cardiff. When was it? 2019?
2019, yeah, October 2019.
So really nice to have a little physical piece of you guys here for the festival, Nicholas and Carolyn.
Thank you. And it was not even easy to get them here, but it was a whole adventure. But they made their way.
Brexit, man.
Yeah.
Okay, actually for mine, I'll start by the one around the back. I'll help you.
Okay, we're just having a little cable reorganisation here, and we're going to move the trolley. We've got a very high-tech trolley with the laptop, the broken microphone.
It's a drone, actually.
A drone.
Our camera drone.
It's our camera drone.
2 persons operating it.
A two-person drone with the broken microphone that kept us silent earlier. Lots of long Ethernet cables and my glass of beer being pushed across the gallery.
And we are getting to the corner here. So here we have the work I've been making for Eastern DC. So I got in the exhibition four different artworks. And throughout the period of the Eastern DC, which I started working on in 2018-19 mostly, is a period where I got quite affected by climate change and its consequences and the sort of mental health repercussions it can have. And I started thinking, how can I, with my art practice, I normally make robots and machine art. How can, with this sort of practice, can I try to have a positive impact on environmental change or making things a bit better for the planet? So I started thinking of making props for climate demonstrations. I got into this sort of design. So this is, in 2018, came a report called Decline of the Entomofauna, which is quite a damning report on the fact that we have less and less insects on the planet, and in the last 40 years we lost about 60% of the mass. I'm not exactly sure about the numbers, don't quote me, but it's quite a drastic reduction of population with large impacts on all sorts of ecosystems, including survival of the soil, and anyway, quite one of numerous triggers that might herald quite a bleak future for the human race if we are not careful and move fast. Anyway, so I made these to try to do something about it. So take them to demonstrations. I show them in Extinction Rebellion protests in London. And this is what they do. They have around the back a little circuit with a square wave oscillator. They are all made from recycled components. The idea is to make these artworks with using hardly any new material if possible, none at all. The battery is recycled, the wood is recycled, bits of hazelnut found in the wood near where I live. It's an old umbrella. Anyway, the idea is to go low-tech, frugal, and recycle, and to make noise for the insects, basically. So they have slightly different tones. Some are louder than others. Anyway. This led me to another sort of work which is related in the aesthetics, which is this one here, which is part of an installation that has two components. So this is the installation is called The Future. This one is flower, solar powered, that is saying sentences about the future. So it holds quite a large database of short sentences about the future, going like the future is scary, the future is bananas, the future is something that belongs to the past, future is, going here this one. But all these sentences come from the other part of the installation, which is a large paper scroll, which we can see here. And on this paper scroll, people entering the exhibition are invited to write their own statement about the future. So we have quite a lot of this being written over the past exhibition of the work and this one. And a couple of times during the exhibition I will come and upload the new sentences into the Raspberry Pi computer that is powering the big flower that you've seen at the beginning. So here the idea is to get people to vent out their views about the future, and there is quite a broad range of statements, from very serious and deep to completely silly. It doesn't matter, everything goes into the system, everything is said, and this is a sort of a poll taking the pulse of what people think about the future. The future can't be tamed, the future is Jenna Marbles, whatever that is. The future is coming, the future is exciting, the future is oh whoa, the future is Tom Jones, the future has not been saved, are you sure you wish to leave the application, the future is gender free, and so on. So what I was doing through this period is also trying to extricate myself from the sense of doom, from having been reading too much science report about ecological collapse and other scary facts about the future. That I think put me in a state of eco-anxiety, as it's called, like a state of anxiety based on the certainty that the world is coming to a bad way because of ecological factors. So the way to distantiate myself from that was to try to put a slightly lighter tone on the work. So this is the last work I've done, these two little wood sculptures. So they are hand carved, made of boxwood and oak, and they are very simple hand powered little electrical devices that are displaying a scrolling text, which is a wordplay on fairly dark statements. And this one says, for example, we are dead. So there's no need for many explanations about which sort of word it is a wordplay for. But that's something I find as a way to escape eco-anxiety, is to make some things which are quite intensive on the handcraft, using traditional tools, combining with low-tech electronics, which is hand-powered, saying a bit of a statement on using renewables, and making work that is at the same time saying something quite tragic, but also in a funny sort of way to sort of keep the positivism. Then we can move next to Ingrid Murphy, who cannot be here with us, unfortunately, for this opening. But Alex is going to take over and read the statement about ceramics work, ceramics and audio.
Ingrid Murphy is a colleague from the course of Maker course we run here in Cardiff School of Fair Design. So, Pots of Infinite Possibilities are a series of interactive ceramic works which explore the material characteristics and orality of ceramic objects. The works use touch capacitance, proximity sensing on archetypal pots, generate or access electronic sound that is created by or of the pot and the user's interaction. By exploiting the conductive nature of luster, the ceramic objects themselves become the interface, enabling us to extend our experience of familiar and mundane objects. The body of work created for Eastern DC is a continuation of research into how traditional making skills, ceramic materiality, and digital technologies can link touch, sight, and sound in a myriad of ways, using the habitual ways in which we handle familiar objects and materials to explore the infinite possibilities of objects as interface. So over there you can see the ceramic objects and the ceramic pots. So normally by touching the pots, the sound is generated.
I think the one that works best, the one on the stuff mantelpiece here. So I'm gonna move sideways.
So moving sideways.
We have here a broken pot, which I show the detail of. Oops. Okay.
You can see that the material is responsive to my gesture.
You touch the golden parts. So this one is actually playing the sound of its own destruction. It was broken, the sound was recorded when it broke, and it is playing when you touch the object. This one is a bit temperamental, but similar principle.
Yeah, the last job.
You know, yeah. Let's go. Yeah.
It needs some body to get it activated.
That's right.
So you can see that there is a craftsmanship in creating the object, but also an interesting dialogue with the electronics and the combination you can have in this multimodal experience piece. So, where are we going now?
He's over to Ian's next one.
Yeah.
Check my laptop.
Okay.
You want to read and we'll put the sound on?
So, yeah, so this is Ian's other piece. So you might remember we saw his array earlier. This piece is called Wet Data. It's a video installation piece that mediates upon the formation of small clumps composed of man-made plant detritus that are caught in riverbank plants, seeing them as an analogue for non-human networks in nature and in data. So it's a really lovely video piece that you sort of bend over and look into with mirrored acrylic and the screen underneath and I noticed this earlier listening to Ian's talk, these really kind of bizarre forms that Ian creates in his video work, these sort of strange semi-natural, semi-man-made kind of clumps of stuff, and you get these sort of like appearing in the middle of this lovely flowing water around this set into the reflective acrylic, like wet data, and accompanying sound as well.
Yep. I think I'm gonna present my piece now. Yes. So, as you can see, it's a complicated business to do this live. But we're getting there. So I think it would be easier to read the notes. So this is a piece that it's a co-created piece actually, and the outcome is the result of a workshop. So it was developed by my colleague Odysseus Chrysouras and myself as a workshop which we run here at CSAD, and the idea was to materialize meaning and sentences and words and try to deconstruct it in a physical, tangible way. So there is an online video that explains well the process, and probably it would be easier to read. So the title of the piece is called Texture, and I'm reading it now loud. In the textural world and in each language, meanings are associated with specific geometries and their different conglomerations. Meanings have become visual entities. In a sense, ideal communication would be a frozen world of meanings, sounds, and geometries, but would it be? In the text and the texture, participatory art installation, the artists are trying to fluidly reform the relation of text and geometry. They vitalize parametric design and digital fabrication in order to revisualize each word in relation to the phrase it appears in. In the textural world, a neutrons is a scratch, more a texture than a text, a texture. So the visitors actually are encouraged to rearrange the textural conglomerations, and each CNC milled block is a word. Words of same phrase have the same height, but their lengths are relevant to the textual form of the word itself. So probably you cannot read the messages or the words, but part of the concept is this deconstruction of meaning and rearrangement. So the visitors, as I say, they are like how to are invited to deconstruct their own tangible message. So it can take various forms and patterns, and I think that's it for the moment. So I hope you get a glimpse of what we did here at Cardiff School of Art and Design. This is our gallery space. We use it for the students, and we were excited to run it. It was COVID, it was difficult, it was extremely laborious to set it up, but we managed it, and somehow we transferred it to the camera to you with all these amazing problems, but they're coming to an end. So I hope you enjoyed it, and on the website you can see the rest of the gallery pieces, which we couldn't unfortunately bring them here. So at your own pace, go to the gallery space and see the videos from other amazing artists, from Ludmila, from Germany, from Slovenia, that contributed to this festival. So I'm going to stop now, and the next session will start soon with compositions from students from Curio Conservatory, from Royal College of Music in Stockholm, from Ionian University, with a small pose also. And see you in a bit, and bye-bye, thank you.